This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you in part by Telex, the interconnection company, owners and operators of 56 Marietta, the most network-rich co-location facility in the Southeast. Tag TV and Tag Radio. Technology now has a voice of innovation and information. Get it on www.tagtvonline.com. Fast-moving, radical technologies are reshaping today's global entertainment industry. The state of Georgia, due to its talent base, large media operations, high-tech research institutions, favorable business environment, and rich culture, is uniquely positioned to meet the competitive challenges and economic opportunities for what experts predict to be a globally prolificated, digital-driven future. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, November 3rd, 2009, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. I'm your guest host, Frank Baia. Film, music, television, games, and digital applications. Economics are driving the entertainment industry to adopt newer ways of communicating and collaborating with industry peers, verticals, and across sectors, as well as with their audiences, to create and deliver better content. This month, the Tech Talk takes a look at the digital-driven future of media and entertainment right here in Georgia on a series of interviews with top industry leaders and industry executives who are currently dealing in the infrastructure, economic conditions, leading-edge technologies, and the strategies impacting Georgia in the digital economy of tomorrow. First up to the Tech Talk, high-tech sales and marketing leading executive and the president of the recently formed Digitainment Association of Georgia, Audra Browning. Years of successful high-tech industry performance, starting at Burroughs Corporation in Chicago, Audra moved to Atlanta with Harris Corporation as regional sales manager and later vice president of sales for their data products division. Nearly a decade and a half later, deciding to pursue a startup opportunity, she took her successful strategies and network of relationships to network compliance. Her NetApp experience has led her to specializing in companies targeting rapid growth in the Southeast. Chair of the Technology Association Entertainment Special Interest Society and both past director of programs and the 2006 president of the Atlanta Telecom Professionals, she now serves as president of Digitainment Georgia. Driving the digital media future in media and entertainment is our focus as Tech Talk takes a month-long look into the company's booming business of tomorrow with high-tech C-level exec and digital entertainment industry leader, Audra Browning. Audra, welcome to Tech Talk.
Thanks, Frank. It's good to be here.
Well, let's start out by kind of crafting the whole area for a minute, and let's talk a little bit about the digital industry. From your perspective, how has it changed, and maybe kind of cover for our audience a little bit about the new opportunities?
Well, over the last, 5 or 10 years, what's happened is that, there's been a digital explosion. And really what's caused that is the fact that, personal computers and laptops became popular. I mean, I don't know what everyone else's house looks like, but we have 5 family members and 5 laptops. So, those and people are using them for everything. And not only that, to add to that, the iPhone and cell phones, that technology has evolved where now you can watch movies on your cell phone. You listen to music on your cell phone. And so this has created a huge amount of data that is actually going out to consumers. And these consumers are now getting this data from the cable companies, from the phone companies, from IPTV providers, and everyone's going after the triple play. That means that you can watch the same movie on a PC, TV, or on your cell phone. That's changing not just the amount of content, but the people that it's getting to. And it's also changing the way that individuals are developing this content. And so individuals can now, because of the tools that are available, actually produce music in their homes and then quickly get it out to the internet and to the rest of the world. music, videos, any kind of digital content. And then you look at Facebook and the social media that's exploded and how that's adding to this digital revolution. So it's been an exciting 5 or 10 years, Frank.
Well, I think change is probably an understatement when you talk about all of the impact, not only vertically but horizontally, and all of the new technologies and new collaborative tools. You've identified a few opportunities. Is there any others that you can think of? I mean, obviously, if you're a professional in the music industry or television or film, you probably can get down to the granular. But you touched on a couple. But are there any other new opportunities you can think of that might be worth exploring with our audience?
Well, in general, I think that the telecom industry is being, radically changed by the digital entertainment industry, because they, in the past they've had to deliver, mostly voice, and now whether it's cellular or it's landline or it's all about digital media.
Mm-hmm.
So that has really, when you think about the size of that vast industry and how it's going to affect our whole economy, it's pretty huge.
Well, now we've been talking about the industry in general. Maybe let's get a little bit more focused and talk about Georgia for a second. Can you touch upon maybe some of the companies that you can think of that are leaders in Georgia as far as this digital industry evolution?
Well, as far as the large companies that are here, we're talking about Turner, of course, and Turner, the CNN. But you're also talking about, Crawford Communications, one of the largest distributors of satellite communications in the world. And then there are so many smaller players. Georgia right now has over 13 record labels. We have the largest audio engineering school in the United States, which is the Atlanta Art Institute. SCAD has recently opened a facility here, which is a Savannah School of Art and Design, which is one of the leading schools that really focus a lot on digital content in the country, and also the gaming industry. The gaming industry is really booming. Every one of the universities in Georgia has a gaming program that they're rolling out. There are a number of companies like Caneva, CCP White Wolf, that are headquartered here. CDC, which is one of the largest gaming company in China, has recently moved their headquarters to Atlanta. So there is a lot going on in Atlanta.
Well, now talking about a lot going on, I think we can also maybe talk a lot more going to happen. Tell our audience a little bit about what Georgia's doing to promote digital media. The whole incentive issue probably is one you're going to want to cover.
Yeah, so the tax incentive, incentives that were passed here in Georgia are really phenomenal. It's a 30% tax incentive for content that's created in Georgia. So these tax incentives are bringing people from LA to Georgia. So everyone knows the economy in California has been having difficulty in general, and so there are lots of companies moving their shows, to Atlanta. So, for instance, this isn't from LA, but the Monique show is now being filmed at Turner Studios.
Mm-hmm.
NBA is being broadcast out of Turner Studios. There are so many different projects that are coming here. There are over, I think like 15 movies that are being filmed in Georgia this year, and that changed from like 2 or 3 the previous year, and that's all because of the tax incentives.
I was talking to an industry executive the other day that even mentioned Robert Redford was in town producing a film. So.
Matt McConaughey was in town producing a film. I mean, it's just amazing. The number of people. And what's happening is these people are coming here. They're experiencing Georgia. They're experiencing our lifestyle and just the beauty of our surroundings. And I think they'll be back. They'll be back for tax incentives, but they'll be back because they're going to love it.
Sure. And, of course, they're hiring our local talents and our local suppliers and our local vendors. One of my favorite stories is that, as you and I have talked about, I'm an antique collector, and I was at an antique mall, and they were talking about how a movie producer had come in and bought up a number of different things to use for props. So, the trickle-down theory from an economic aspect is almost endless when you really think about it. Tell us a little bit about the resources that are being developed. Let's drift a little bit into education in the schools. What are the schools doing to train more students who can participate in these opportunities?
So the schools in Georgia have really very quietly behind the scenes done a whole lot. As I mentioned, Atlanta Art Institute with the audio engineering, but also at Georgia State there are over 600 students just in the undergraduate film department, and they have incredible facilities there. Then you've got University of Georgia has the only music as a business program in the country that they've developed. So, when you're and I can't forget Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has a huge emphasis on the digital media and entertainment industry, and they're looking at gaming, and they just opened a music department. So you can be a music engineer, I guess, at Georgia Tech, which is pretty novel. So these are really exciting things that are going on, and also Southern Poly, Gwinnett Tech, Gainesville College, all Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern has the only 5-year opera program, music degree. In one of the only ones in the country. So there's real great talent coming out of Georgia.
Well, and it probably brings us to a really good spot to end the conversation on, and that is something that I think you've been working on. I know I've had an opportunity to participate a little bit in it as well. The Evolving Digital Entertainment White Paper. It's my understanding now it's a case where the white paper itself has put so much information all in one place, all at one time, that even the state is kind of reveling in the idea of we really do have a digital entertainment industry here in Georgia. Tell us a little bit about that white paper.
Yeah, so about a year ago, I started working with the Office of the Film Commissioner, and we looked at what was needed in Georgia, and one of the things that we all decided was that we really needed to define the digital entertainment industry in Georgia, that it was kind of, when people talked about it, it was kind of vague. So we worked together with Gwinnett County and Melanie Brandt at Gwinnett County at putting together a white paper that would define the digital entertainment industry. And that white paper is now about 100 pages long and is just about ready for publication. And I think the governor is going to himself announce the white paper early next year. And our hope is that this paper will tell people what we're doing here, what the schools are doing, what the businesses are doing. We're going to have testimonials from people of why they are growing their business in Georgia or why they brought their business to Georgia as far as the entertainment industry. And if you Google Usher and look at his Wikipedia entry, what it'll say is that he moved to Georgia because he thought it was a better place for him to grow his business. And that's what we want to get across to everyone, that this is an incredible place to live and an incredible place to grow not only your family but also your business.
Well, I think that's a great way to end our conversation. We're talking to the high-tech C-level executive and digital entertainment industry leader and the president of Digitainment Georgia, Audra Browning. Audra, thank you so much for joining us today on Tech Talk.
Thanks, Frank. It was great to be here.